Hello, 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 and welcome to Bub's World. I'm your host, Bub, and today we're going to do a vinyl records haul. So let's see what we got. This has been maybe 2 or 3 weeks worth of records. I feel like it's only been 2 weeks, sadly enough. So we'll get into it. We had a tailgater here. So what's going on, Las Cruces? Hey, Deadpool 2323. What's going on, brother? Good to have you. Wondering how everything's doing in your great state. Fish Cat Collectibles all the way from then there, Penny, Sylvania. So appreciate that. Thank you all for joining in. Let's take a look at some vinyl records. What do you say, guys? First up, I usually do the new records first, but you know what? I'm going to show some old records and then I'll mix them around and then I'll let you know what I'm thinking going forward for my collection. What's going on, CP? Good to have you. All right. First up, we got KC and the Sunshine Band. Woo! Part 3, apparently. With most of their hits, not bad. It's got the them there gatefold. So if you're really into them, there you go. And I've already put these in my MoFi sleeves, so there it is there. Didn't have any particular inserts or anything like that. So there you go. There's the first one. And let's see. Hey, Harry Zlatos. Good to have you, brother. This one I was real excited to get. This was Men at Work with Business as Usual. And this one has some of the more classic songs. Who Can It Be Now? Down Under. And some of my favorites is Be Good Johnny and Down by the Sea. So some good music there. No special interior, but I did put it in my record sleeves. Just a quick note. I put in the description below some of the paraphernalia, if you will, for vinyl records. Australian pressing? I don't know. Is it? How do I know if it's an Australian pressing? I don't know. You tell me if there's a way to know. I see it says Columbia Records. I don't know. You let me know if there's a way to know. Stupid question. What's MoFi sleeves? Is just a sleeve that goes in the cover. Yeah. So, okay. MoFi is a brand. But like anything else, like I don't use the name brand because sometimes you can't get them. Hey, what's up, Benny C? Sometimes you can't get them. So I just use whatever's available. I put the link to one of them below. So in the description, I have a link to all the supplies that I use and to my sound system setup. So if you wanted to recreate what I have, you could with all the links below and give you an idea how much something like this would cost to set up. So these, of course, this is the record itself is in here, right? So this is what's called an inner sleeve, and that's just what the record goes into, and then it goes into the jacket. So these particular inner sleeves are called rice paper inner sleeves. So there's a chamber. It has this kind of poly sleeve, right? And then inside this is a chamber of rice paper. And the reason for rice paper is because, you know, it won't mold and it has some stiffness to it, but it's still real lightweight. And then the other side is blank. So you put the record inside there. And the reason that you would do that is because it has no static. So a lot of times when you're pulling a record out of, say, paper, like a paper sleeve, it'll collect a bunch of static. And when you try and play that record, it's going to give a lot of cracks and pops and stuff like that. It doesn't really sound real good. So it's a way to eliminate static. The other reason you would do it is because it has, just protective quality for the record itself. Paper sleeves can scratch your records. I'm not a doomsdayer. I'm not like everything damages your records and destroys everything, but it does. Paper can damage your records. Some leave little scratches. And what's the worst thing about paper is that, which is what most records used to come in, especially, and still some do, is that they leave little bits of paper all over your record because those grooves are really fine. and when you rake it across the paper, it'll get little pieces of paper all over the record, like just dirt, basically dirt and dust. So when you play it, it'll skip when it hits one of those pieces or collect on your stylus or needle. So for all those reasons, and these are cheap. You can get like, I don't know, 25 for $20 or something for less than $1 a piece. Sometimes you get a sale and they're even more of them for the same money. So that's why I say I think the ones I have down there, maybe they were 25, but these are some of the more expensive record sleeves you can get. And even at that, they're like $1 a piece. And, you know, coming from the comic world, shoot, man, we spend, if you're putting something in a Mylar or Mylite, you're spending that kind of money anyway. So, or more. So there you go. That's what that is. Looks like an import. Very well may be. We'll have to find out more about that. Hey, Paolo Costo, good to see you. Oversized coasters. All right, Dad warning me not to mess with the pitch, even though it was funny. Yeah, you can. The record player I have has a pitch adjuster, and you can make them sound like chipmunks or slow them down so they sound like James Earl Jones. Yeah, or sound like crap as a kid. Well, you know, that's how it is. All right, next up, excuse me, we have a story of popular music. And this has a bunch of I picked these up for $1 a piece. So this one has All You Need Is Love by the Beatles, Whole Lot of Shaking Going On, Jerry Lee Lewis, Only You by the Platters, The Mighty Quinn, Blueberry Hills, Sweet Little 16 by Chuck Berry, The Shadows by, or Apache by the Shadows, and tons more. You've Lost That Love and Feeling by the Righteous Brothers. I mean, this thing, Pictures of Lily by The Who, Layla by Eric Clapton, Sunshine of Your Love by Cream. I mean, this thing, Maggie May, Rod Stewart. I mean, this thing was jam-packed with hits. And what was nice was that a lot of times these, you know, cheaper, because these records were crap. These were the kind of things that you would mail away for, or you would buy, you know, like they'd advertise on TV or in a magazine or something like that. And you'd mail away for crap like this. And they have tons of songs on them, like a ridiculous amount of songs. And then the way that they fit all those songs on here is by putting all the songs. You see how tight those grooves are? Like there's a ton of songs on there, and really more than should be on there. So they make the grooves really tight. So what that does is it makes it prone to skipping. So they're very low quality. Look at this jacket. It's like a piece of paper. So very low quality stuff, but for $1, and some poor schmuck probably paid, you know, $19.99 for this from a mail away once upon a time. So, you know, I don't feel so stupid buying it for $1. So, and a lot of times these records are barely played. When you get the compilation albums and dollar bins, they're always like barely played records. Eric Clapton, admit it. Yes, I did. I'm pretty sure I did say. You had to go back on that. Worse, you'd buy a 10 record box set and every song would be a cover version. Yeah. So when you're buying these, you're always looking for original songs by the original artist. That's like the tagline you're hoping for. Because if you don't get that, it's going to be crap. Speaking of crap, here is Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta in the Grease soundtrack. So the movie's not crap. I actually enjoy the movie quite a bit. And my wife likes it too, of course, being that she's female. And all these great things. I really just bought this for the jacket itself because the records were destroyed. I mean, they are totally jacked up. There's that side. This side is just a replay of that. And they were absolutely terrible. So they recently did a reissue of this album, and I think I'm going to pick it up. It costs, I don't know, 25 something dollars. This was $1. So, but I'll probably pick up the reprint, but I just wanted to get that cool jacket and have the memories of that. I had that when I was a kid. I bet you did, brother. Here's another one that's too scratched almost to play. Don't Shoot Me, I'm Only a Piano Player by Elton John. With Daniel, let's see, what else is this one known for? And Crocodile Rock, probably the two biggest. And I'm Gonna Be a Teenage Idol. Those are probably the three biggest songs on this one. So Don't Shoot Me, I'm Only the Piano Player. And of course, the Vanity Gatefold. Everybody needs that, right? And there's the back. So fun stuff there. This was another one of those hidden gems. Any Prince in your collection? Just Purple Rain is all I have. All right, Dick Clark, 20 years of rock and roll. And this is another one that's got like a crap ton of songs, like 25 songs or 30, it says. Contains 30 original hits, specially priced 2-record set. Yeah, for $1. And it has lots of cool old pictures of Dick Clark. I remember Dick Clark being on the radio Saturday morning, listening to Dick Clark's American Top 40, I think. And it's a 2-record set, and it's really cool. A lot of good music on it. It spans everything from 1953 hits from 1953 through 1972. So a lot of good stuff on here. And one of the odd things about this record, what's going on, Jamie? Good to see you, brother. One of the odd things about this record is I've never seen a record that had this before, although it makes sense. And I'll tell you what they did here is that it is side A on that side. And then the next side is side D. So on the first record, it's side A, side D. And on the second record, as you can imagine, it's side C, side B. So you're like, why would anybody do that, right? What were they thinking? So here's what they were thinking. Hey, what's up, Werewolf by Lunchtime? So back in the day, and I used to have a couple of record players that did this. They would be on the spindle, right, the spindle, which is where you actually lay the record on the little stick. They would automatically drop the next record, which is terrible for your records, but I did it. And the better automatic record players could push a button and it would automatically drop the next record on top of each other. Well, of course, it would only play one side. So in this case, you would set up side A to drop, and then you would have side B on another record, and you would have it drop. Then you would pick them both up, turn them upside down, put them back on the spindle, and do it again. Drop one, drop the other, and in that way, you would have side A. Then the next record would be side B at the top, and then when you flipped them, it would be C and then D. So crazy, I know. So anyway, I'd never seen a record that was actually labeled that way, though. So that was pretty cool to see. So here's another compilation album, the hits of 1982's best hits 2-record set. Let me tell you, they ain't all winners. But it's got 8675309 Jenny, Do You Believe in Love, The Stroke by Billy Squier, Pretty Woman by Van Halen, wasn't too bad, Urgent by Foreigner. Let's see. This side wasn't as good as the first side. Lady by the Commodores isn't bad. Your Imagination by Hall & Oates, and Slow Hand by the Pointer Sisters, Man on Your Mind by Little River Band, and several other classic hits from 1982. Check that out. The interior, not bad. There you go there. All right. Next, I already have one Roy Orbison's greatest hits, but it's kind of scratchy and not best quality. So I picked up another one, and this has a couple of songs the other one didn't have, but then the other one has a couple of songs this one didn't have. So between them, I still don't have all the hits I want, but there they are. And with Roy Orbison is one of my favorite old-timey artists, if you will, old Sun Records artist. And the problem with that is that this one's kind of scratchy too. So it leads me into my point for this video, which is that I think I'm going to start really only transitioning to brand new records and just getting some new greatest hits and stuff that's going on. And only picking up older records if they're in premium condition. A little less dollar bin diving, because I've got so many records that sound okay, but honestly, they'd sound better streaming through a streaming service than they do on this on these records, because the records are so scratched and old. So, all right, here is jazz. These samplers are hard to find though. If I ever see any of these, man, I'm digging it. These Maxell samplers, and this is a jazz one. It's got great songs on it. A couple of live, which I don't care for as much, but it's pretty good. And the sound quality is fantastic. They do a big deal with the sound staging here, so it all sounds really, really good. You need to have a mini jukebox in the background, Bubs. I do. I need a little one back here. That'd be cool. So there's the jazz one. And I also picked up the classical one as well. So check that out. Very cool. And these sound amazing. I mean, really, really good. All right, here's our first new record. and it's Elvis Presley Gold. Elvis's Gold Records. Got Hound Dog, Loving You, All Shook Up, Heartbreak Hotel, Jailhouse Rock, you name it, it's got it. And check that. Beautiful gold vinyl. Isn't that pretty? Digging that. So good stuff there. This next one I've been waiting to get for a long time. Finally found it on sale. Snatched it up before anybody else did. Or maybe they still can, but found it online. It's Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. And I've got it in the Demdara protective outer sleeve. So this is like Mylar for your, let's see. Is there a compilation of Elvis B-sides? Potentially. Really, if you get a lot of the greatest hits ones, a lot of them aren't all his number one hits. A lot of them are a mix of songs of A's and B-sides. So, of course, he never really had a top-selling album other than his church albums, his gospel music. So there's Dark Side of the Moon for you. And this one has a bunch of posters and stuff. But honestly, I never cared for the posters that came with this album. They were all ugly to me. And this one has a nice record sleeve that's paper on the outside and that same kind of poly on the inside. So that's cool. And you guys, I picked this up for $24. It's $23.99 on sale. Walmart had a sale online only for this album, which is crazy because everywhere you go for this album, especially the ones that have all the posters and stuff in them, everywhere you go to get this album is definitely $28 or more. Usually, for one that has everything like this does, and it even has a packaging that has like a soft touch feel to it. It's not just regular paper. And they're always $30. And this one in particular was listed as $34.99 or $33.99. So it was going to be $34 and it had $10 off. So I was like, holy cow. So I couldn't believe it. I still can't believe it that I was able to get it for that price. And super psyched about it. Super stoked. And it sounds amazing. This is another one that I've seen used. And they want like crazy prices for the used ones. Like I'm not paying you $60, $70 for an original pressing that sounds like crap because it's been played for 30 years. Have the whole catalog, I assume, of Pink Floyd. Yeah, Werewolf, that's right. Fantastic. Great stuff. This was one I picked up. This is Record Store Day. If you guys don't know, is a couple of times a year they do Record Store Day. It's kind of like Comic Book Day or Free Comic Book Day, where they have exclusives that come out to record stores. This is one of those. So this is The Other Side of Sun Part 2, Sun Records compilation album. So, and I think it's just regular black vinyl. I was just checking. So, but it's got some hits from some of the lesser known Sun Records artists. So very cool. Digging that. And it's a really good one. Here's an album that is one of my favorite albums from one of my favorite bands. The band is Dave Matthews Band. And this album is called Away from the World. And this album is, I think it's their best album. So there that is. And I think that one of the main guys had already died by the time they made this one. But this is my favorite album of theirs. It just has just beautiful song after beautiful song. They give you the lyrics with it, which is really cool. It's a double album set. And it's just super awesome. And I think it's colored too, if I'm not mistaken. So let's take a look. This is how we check that. Yes, or rather clear. So it's clear. And when I bought it at cheaper than the regular price. And it was brand new. And it didn't have like the hype sticker on it. Like it was missing the hype sticker. I bought it at a secondhand store, but it was still brand new. And I guess somewhere along the line, it lost a hype sticker, which is the sticker that gets put on these to tell you, how heavy it is or how it's remastered and how you're going to love it or anything special about it. And this one should have had a hype sticker that said clear pressing, clear vinyl, and they go for a lot more. This is like $80 for that. And I think I picked it up for like 25 or something like that. And a regular issue of it should cost somewhere around 30. So I did really, really well. I spent $60 for a signed copy of Moon. Okay, fair enough. I'm not saying nothing is worth that price. I'm just saying when you give me an original pressing, that doesn't impress me unless it's perfect and it sounds great. You know, if it's got scratches and stuff on it, I'm out. If the jacket's all dented and beat up, why am I paying extra for that when I can get a brand new one? So this one, Brian Setzer's Rockabilly, a tribute to Sun Records, some more Sun Records love. And this one is really pretty too. So you get this open. I don't know if I'm going to stick with these outer sleeves. They're kind of a pain in the ass, but you know how that is. So there's that. It's very cool. And this comes in a beautiful red vinyl. So digging that. Both double LP set, both beautiful red. So loving that. All right. I'm not even gonna fool with that. It's such a pain in the ass. I don't know. I may not keep those plastics. They drive me crazy. All right, Huey Lewis in the news with 4. And this has got some Stuck With You, Doing It All for My Baby, and Hip to Be Square being among the more popular songs from this album. Very cool. And it's in really good shape. So digging that. And I played it and it played perfect. All right, just 2 left. We got Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. And What Now, My Love? It's okay. It's not as good as his classic album, Whipped Cream Delight, or whatever it's called. I like it better. This one's okay. And you know, they came out with a repressing of the Whipped Cream one, and I think I'm gonna buy that. So sometimes these are just good to pick up for $1 and see if you actually end up liking them. Like the early Stray Cats. Yes, I like Stray Cats as well. Hey, just got home, Las Cruces. Welcome back. All right. So Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass. That guy's getting all kinds of loving for his trumpet work. And last and certainly not least, we have a new album, and it's fairly new. It only came out a couple years ago, and that's Elle King, Shake the Spirit. So if you don't know Elle King, she's the daughter of Rob Schneider, and she sings kind of like in a blues country, kind of a Roadhouse blues sound, very raspy, very whiskey blues, really is what it is. It's whiskey blues. And she's absolutely fantastic. And honestly, I would put her up against any female artist that sings similar type music. I mean, 100%, she's wonderful. Wife and I went to go see her in concert a couple weeks ago. And so I went ahead and picked this album in order to be ready for that concert. So, which I already had her other album as well. So fantastic stuff. Great album, great singer. And the show was pretty good, but it was the first show of the tour. And if you guys have ever been to the first show of a tour, always look for that. If your little city is number 1 on the tour, here's what you should expect. Unless it's a name brand, like somebody who puts on tours every other year. But if it's a regular artist, you should expect a lot of mess ups. They don't know the words, the timing's off. There's a lot of talking. You don't know how long it's going to go. And that makes for a very informal concert, but it's still pretty nice. So, similar voice styling, yes. Poor musical taste. Thanks. I appreciate you guys. So yeah, check out Elle King when you get a chance. Her first album is perfect. This album isn't as good, but it's still very good and good stuff. So check that out. And she has a new song out on the country stations with Miranda Lambert. So she has a brand new song out. So definitely a contemporary artist if you're into that. So there you go. That's the haul. Nothing much going on. Check out the description below for my hi-fi setup and the paraphernalia that I use, all the different things. I just put links to everything down there. That way, because like everyone keeps asking me, I keep getting questions on Instagram, and then people hit me up in chats and ask, what's your setup? What do you have? And I haven't gone through. I need to do a video where I go over each part of it. That takes time, and I don't know how to get. I'm gonna have to set something up over there to do it. But in the meantime, you guys can click those links. If you see anything you want to buy, you buy it, and you can get an idea of how much this kind of stuff costs. It's not terribly expensive depending on what you get, and everything there, everything that's in my setup was really labored over. Like I really stressed over each thing, did all my research. What do I need? Why do I need this? How's this going to interact with the other component systems? And just went line by line and made sure that everything was going to blend well. And I tell you, the sound I'm getting out of this system is just amazing and way better than any of it would be out of the box. So that's fair. Euro dance competitions. Oh man. Oh gosh, no, not going to do that. So maybe I'll do Jefferson Starship versus Jefferson Airplane one night for a band battle or something. All right, so that's it. We'll catch you all next time. It's a short one today, just 26 minutes. I didn't even think it would take 30. So, but that's what we got going on here in Bub's World. We're always collecting vinyl records, comics, pops, statues, figures. I need a few more statues, as always. And you know, stuff. Everything you can, basically old media. Everything that people don't think deserves to be out there anymore. Old paper, old vinyl, you name it. You know, toys. Kids don't even play with toys anymore. So, you know, if you liked all that kind of old stuff and you like me, you'll like hanging out in Bub's World. All right, we'll catch you next time. Thanks to everybody in the chat showed up and anybody watching the replay. We'll catch you next time. Remember to, let's kick it off with here. Here it is. Remember, play your records. It won't destroy them. Bye-bye.